Hey everyone, my name is Prince, and welcome back to another video talking about Primeval New World, The Ascent. Now, if you missed the big news, for the first time in 12 years, we are getting new, licensed Primeval content in the form of a Primeval New World novel. It's called Primeval New World, The Ascent, and it's actually coming out at the end of this month. Now, in the last video, I sort of just talked about what this could mean and, what it could contain, considering at the time of announcement, we literally basically knew jack shit. But since making that video, we actually got the official description on the Amazon page because the book is now available for pre-order on Kindle. And considering I told you guys that I would be here telling you guys about all of the new developments to do with Primeval New World The Ascent, not to mention this is probably the most exciting news I've ever covered on my channel, considering it's a seemingly dead franchise getting new licensed content, I decided to make a video going over the official description and seeing what we can learn from it. So from the Amazon page, the official description reads as the following. Evan Cross, technical wizard and founder of Cross Photonics, is no stranger to tragedy. While investigating magnetic interference, he and his wife were attacked by an unimaginable terror, an Albertosaurus, a tyrannosaur extinct since the Cretaceous period. Brooke died at the carnivore's jaws and the dinosaur vanished into a fourth-dimensional portal, never to be seen again. 6 years have passed since that fateful day. Haunted by her final moments, Evan creates a sector within Cross Photonics called the Special Projects Group. His small team makes a plan to track these elusive rifts in time called anomalies and combat the threats that lurk within. Soon, tragedy strikes again. His friend Tony Drake is killed by a Utahraptor. Meanwhile, a pteranodon attacks a thrill seeker in Vancouver. After both dinosaurs killed one another, he thought the problem was dealt with. Now, as a business meeting with an important client approaches, Evan is lured into another incursion with the anomalies. Embarking on a new quest, he is faced with both keeping prehistoric monsters at bay while preserving human life, all while hoping for an opportunity to avenge Brooke's death and kill the Albertosaurus across the intersection of timelines. After 11 years, Primeval New World returns in this exciting novel by dinosaur writer Julian Michael Carver. So let's sort of talk about what we can possibly gain from that description. Now, first off, we have a confirmed incursion. It is confirmed in this description that there is going to be a new incursion. So it is actually confirmed that this novel is going to canonize that there was actually an incursion between episodes 1 and 2 of Primeval New World. What that incursion is going to be, what creatures it's going to contain, I guess we're going to have to find out. But what I find the most interesting about this description is how much emphasis it puts on the Albertosaurus. Because I was saying in the previous video that yes, the Albertosaurus is on the cover. Does that mean that it's going to be in the book? Most likely not, considering that wouldn't really make any sense. But weirdly, this description seems to be putting an awful lot of emphasis on the Albertosaurus and, emphasizing that it may be an important part of this novel. Now, obviously, it was the last paragraph of the description that was actually describing seemingly what's going to happen in the book. So there's a business meeting coming up with an important client, which makes a lot of sense because a big part of Primeval New World was Evan sort of trying to keep Cross Photonics afloat, considering that he didn't really have time to manage the businessy side of things while he was out dealing with the anomalies. And obviously that gets worse and worse as the series goes on because Ange leaves, and obviously Ange was the one that was mostly dealing with all of the business stuff whilst Evan was out dealing with the anomalies. And this is a bit of a tangent, but we don't really ever see what happens to Cross Photonics in Primeval New World. Because in the episode Breakthrough, after Ange leaves, Evan makes it very clear to Dylan that unless he dedicates himself fully to the company again, he's not going to be able to keep it afloat. And in the Inquisition addition, Evan even says to Colonel Hall that Crossphotonics is filing for bankruptcy the next day. And yet in The Sound of Thunder Part 1, they're still at Crossphotonics and everything seems to be okay. So maybe the whole bankruptcy thing was just a lie concocted to try and get Colonel Hall off of his back. But even if that was the case, clearly the whole Crossphotonics money issue was still going to be an issue down the line. But anyway, we've gone on a bit of a tangent here, back to the Ascent. So the rest of the paragraph doesn't really give us a lot of specific information as to what the novel is going to contain. All it really tells us is that there's another incursion and it's happening around the same time as a business meeting is going to occur. But again, what I find really interesting is it keeps emphasizing about the Albertosaurus and avenging Brooke's death. And it literally says that during this novel, Evan is going to be hoping for an opportunity to avenge Brooke's death and kill the Albertosaurus. So despite what I said in the last video, it seems from this description at least, that the Albertosaurus could actually return. Again, this description is really fucking with me because this seems to suggest the novel is going to be akin to something like The Sound of Thunder Part 2, where they're going through different anomalies to different times and there's the potential of changing the entire timeline. But something like that seems to be way too major considering where we are in the series right now. Again, you've got to remember that this is taking place between the first 2 episodes where Dylan isn't even part of the team yet. Although just because she's not on the team yet, it doesn't mean that she won't appear because, like I said in the last video, the big thing that happened in between episodes 1 and 2 is Dylan getting suspended from Predator Control. Because apparently following the incursion in episode 1, she actually wrote a report for Predator Control saying that there were actually dinosaurs. And, yeah, that's probably not something that you should do. So given that it takes place between episodes 1 and 2, and they can't really involve Dylan without addressing that, I would really like to see that portion covered in this book. But like I said, from this description alone, we can't really gather that much as to what this book is going to include. We don't know specifically what creatures are going to be involved in this book, whether it is indeed going to be the return of the Albertosaurus somehow, or whether it's going to be something different. Again, it feels really weird that they're seemingly building this up to be something similar to The Sound of Thunder Part 2, where Evan encounters the Albertosaurus again, but that would be really weird, considering that, you know, The Sound of Thunder Part 2 happens later on in the series. And having Evan encounter the Albertosaurus again in this book would sort of make The Sound of Thunder Part 2 a lot less important. Because basically, the overarching story arc of Primeval New World Season 1 was Evan and the Albertosaurus and his grief for Brooke. And The Sound of Thunder Part 2, where he put the Albertosaurus back through the anomaly and essentially caused Brooke's death, and then avenged her after the Albertosaurus came back through the anomaly, that was basically the end of that arc and Evan putting to bed the ghosts of his past. So having this book have Evan encounter the Albertosaurus and not kill it, that seems really weird. But that, or something similar to that, seems to be what the description is hinting at, so I don't fucking know. All I know is when this book comes out, I'm going to be reviewing it chapter by chapter and telling you guys everything there is to know about it. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe and go join the casual Discord down in the description down below if you want to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. Again, thanks a lot for watching everyone, and I will see you on another video or stream very, very soon. Goodbye everyone.